Were you on a phone or?
So I had my previous girlfriend with me at the time and looked away for a split second. She said, "Babe, look forward." I looked forward and I was like, crap.
Yeah. Apparently it wasn't worth looking at her.
As I was driving down the freeway, I looked into my rearview mirror as traffic started slowing in front of me, and I noticed that the defendant was coming full speed and smashed straight into the car behind me. Once he smashed into that car behind me, he then ping-ponged off and hit my vehicle and pushed me onto the median. At that time, the only thing I can think of is my baby, my car, my beautiful, beautiful red Camaro that I worked so hard for was just damaged in seconds. And it was terrifying for me. And I sent pictures to the court for you to see, Your Honor.
Yes.
The damage was pretty bad to my driver rear side.
I was going to merge onto the 67 from a different freeway and ended up slowing down in traffic. I looked away for a split second and ended up looking forward, and I slammed into the back of a car, and that ended up hitting another car, which I ended up hitting another car.
Why did you look away? Were you on a phone or?
So I had my previous girlfriend with me at the time, and I was just talking to her and looked away for a split second. She said, "Babe, look forward." I looked forward and I was like, crap.
Yeah.
And so,
So apparently it wasn't worth looking at her.
yeah, apparently.
Is that why she's your ex?
Well, she's a very beautiful woman.
No, I
so.
don't know. You don't say. I shouldn't say stuff like that. Okay, go ahead. So you were distracted. You suddenly saw. Oops, too late. Boom. You knock into one car, and then you knocked into the plaintiff's car.
Right.
And so we have the damages.
Right.
Okay.
So I got out immediately, checked on both people, made sure everybody was okay.
After the police arrived on scene and they did their investigation, I was able to get my vehicle home, which was just a few miles away. And at that time, I think the adrenaline started coming down and I started feeling a little bit of pain in my lower legs and in my back. And so at that time, I took an Uber to urgent care. And when I arrived at urgent care, the doctor, once they did their assessment, threw me in a neck brace and a backboard and strapped me to a gurney and had me rushed to the nearest trauma center because they were worried about injuries to my spine and me becoming paralyzed. And at that time, that was probably one of the most terrifying experiences I've had, is rolling into a trauma center with all these doctors and nurses running around, trauma codes going on. I had to take several MRIs, CAT scans, and at that time, they were just very unsure what was going to happen. And eventually, I ended up having surgery on my lower back because of the pain caused by the accident.
I'm assuming that in terms of the medical expenses, that has been taken care of.
Yes,
Am I
Your
right
Honor.
in saying? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So this suit is about the damage to your car.
Correct, yes, Your Honor. So I took my vehicle to Chevy to have it repaired correctly. And at the time, Chevy was going through a strike with GM. And so a lot of the parts that they needed to fix my car, they were not able to source because of the strike. So it ended up delaying the repairs of my car for a pretty significant amount of time. His insurance company told me to purchase or to make the rental car agreements and to just keep all of my receipts for any out-of-pocket expenses.
Now we're here and he's suing me for $3,000, but my insurance has already given him both $923 and $519. We've also did pay him for his medical and car damage.
You sued for $3,000, and yet I have here a copy of the letter from his insurance company stating that they first extended the number of days that they pay for the rental because they were aware of the GM strike.
We
So
never
the check
cashed those
was
checks, Your
cashed.
Honor.
Well, then,
They just went poof
What
in
a-
the air.
I don't know what he has or what you're looking at that says that I cashed those checks, Your Honor, but we didn't cash those checks. We refused those checks between a conversation with me and my attorney at the time.
Your Honor, I literally spoke to my insurance company this morning trying to clear things up, and she told me they were cashed. So this email is legit from this morning.
was dated today, you're right, at 9:36 this morning, and it says, among other things,
Your Honor, we never
The,
cashed those checks. I'm not sure what they're saying on there, but we never cashed those checks. My attorney has those checks, Your Honor.
well, if your attorney has the checks,
Why don't you have them?
no, it's okay that the attorney has it, then you should get those checks back from the attorney, and the attorney should make sure that you get to cash them.
He doesn't deserve the full $3,000. In Exhibit D, it talks about how he was expected to get just a regular vehicle, and he was offered $26.11 per day. We weren't responsible for the rest of it. So that means that he upgraded, and it
Your
says that he
Honor.
upgraded to an SM or SUV. Which
Your
he
Honor.
drives a Camaro. You're
That's-
supposed to get a rental car that matches the seats that you have in your vehicle.
So, Your Honor, if that's the case, I'm a 6'4" guy. My Camaro fits me very nicely. If I were to go and rent a Camaro, it would have been way more expensive than the vehicles that I did rent. I'm not going to fit inside of a compact car and look like a clown coming out of it, Your Honor. I rented cars that were suitable for me, that I can fit into, and nothing was told to me about the amount of money that I had to do until after they received the bill. They wanted to tell me that I needed to go down in price and that they were going to cut it in half. The defendant would have been paying attention when he was driving like he should have been and not hit my vehicle. We wouldn't be here in the first place. So I agree with the statement that it's
Okay.
ridiculous we're here.
When you're negligent, you caused an accident, you didn't do it on purpose, you're not a criminal, but it's negligence. And the consequence of a negligent act is oftentimes something you never anticipated.
And so that's what
But-
insurance is for.
So you hit someone who was tall. Next time, go after a short person. I don't know. The plaintiff has suffered injury to his car, in this case, obviously personal injury, but that's not the case. And when there's negligence, you accept the party that you injured as is. And he happens to be a tall guy. And he never abused the kind of car that he did get. He didn't go out and get a Bentley, a Maserati, a Lamborghini. He got a everyday car. So I find for the plaintiff in this case for the sum of $1,500.
Thank you, Your Honor.